attachments. Oh,
Ah,
okay.
there we go.
Okay, we're starting to record. Okay, good. Thank you, Mark. Sorry about that. So there, oh, let me click on got it so we can see your faces now because it's popped up on the screen.
Wow.
Love it. All right. Now,
Hope this
is
hope
this
this is a short meeting because it's getting pretty windy out here.
oh, okay. Well, it won't last long. I promise. So anyway, Cole, I think her name's Stephanie Cole. Shar, do you remember? She is a lawyer that we have worked with, and she created these documents. And these are the documents Mid-York is going to use. And I thought, well, if they're good enough for Mid-York, they're good enough for us. And I just put in, or Shar actually did, put in Dunham Public Library where it made sense. Okay, so it gives us all the guidelines of how it is that we're supposed to conduct virtual meetings. And they did stipulate that it has to be a video meeting. It can't just be a phone-in meeting.
Right.
And I think that's really the only thing that we weren't doing before.
Except for the cord across the floor.
Well, the cord across, we can put a speed bump on it, but it was set up in a way that people didn't have to walk there. Okay.
We were all safe.
Good grief. Anyway, so.
But yeah, they want to be able that the public can see and recognize that it's actually the person and
Right. So you were all supplied with these documents, and I'm sure you read them multiple times.
I did read them.
I read it, but I didn't.
Once anyhow.
And I'm kidding.
Really quick synopsis.
So basically, the only difference from what we've always done is that I know Sally joined us just with her phone and the camera would be off sometimes. And so as long as we understand that everybody's camera has to be on, that's all there is.
Did you send it in your message?
I did. I sent
It was
these
read with the
as
attachment.
attachments.
Because my Word is not working, because I got a brand new computer, because I was compromised, and I don't know how to get on Word.
It's not in Word. I send it as a PDF
Oh,
because
maybe,
not
yeah.
everybody has it, but it should be just at the bottom if you.
No, I don't have your email or anything, I have nothing. I did get your email saying this in the meeting, but I can't even go back, I went back, I can't. I mean, this is a brand new computer.
Do
everything.
about you.
I
I
don't
could
know.
drop things at your house if you want.
Well, no, I gotta be able to do this, I mean, I gotta get things from other places too.
I
I
know.
don't know how to get back into anything.
Okay,
Called the
we're
Geek
gonna talk
Squad.
about this
Yeah.
on the side,
Get the
but we
people
can,
from Best Buy, the Geek Squad to help.
so
you
we
out.
can bring
Yeah,
this,
Yeah,
Let's do this, but yeah.
let's do this, and then we can chat amongst
Right.
ourselves
I'm
about
sorry.
Pat's email, which doesn't have to do with board as a whole. So,
You said you had a question, Sue? Trying to find.
No,
what you had to
the only
about.
question,
Oh,
no,
yes,
we can
please.
go ahead, and-
well, I'll
and
need
do what
one.
you want to do.
Okay,
and
go
then
ahead.
I'll
I'm
have
just going to
questions.
say, that that basically that we would accept these documents. I think we would
Right.
attach all of them
Yeah.
to the minutes that Pam's
Yeah.
going to do. And we will just put them in as our official minutes. And the only thing, basically, we're gonna say that it's today,
Yeah.
it's the 7th.
Seventh, yeah.
And then we're gonna count how many yays, nays, or abstain. And I thought that maybe one of you, either you could sign it or Pam could sign it, so it's like looks official.
Right.
What do
Do
you
we
say?
have to have like a motion? to-
I would be happy to raise the motion that we accept these particular resolutions to authorize video conferencing and adopt policies thereunto.
As attached. Or something.
Mhm.
All right,
Okay,
Okay, and any objections, anyone? No, okay. I just had one question.
oh, yeah.
What is the criteria for it? In the past, we were talking about the fact that you couldn't vote if you were on the video conference.
We weren't sure.
Okay,
I think we were worried that, I think they could, but I wanted to make sure that the video portion of it, say
Yeah.
Scott could have, because we could see him, and we
Right.
could see that it was truly
Yeah.
Scott. We can see that it's truly Sally. So I believe that
Yeah.
all is, it
Okay.
is with this resolution.
so
Yeah.
now how many positive votes do we have? We have Scott and Sally and Shar and.
Fine.
No, just the
Not
5 of you
sure,
can vote.
yeah.
So I
Okay.
think it's
So
a
the five
5.
of us.
Right. Yeah,
Yay,
it's fine.
five.
That makes it unanimous.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. And there's no criteria for you, is there any criteria for using video conference instead of coming to the meeting for the individual?
This
to
did
choose
say you
video?
had to be disabled or
Yeah,
have a
well, it
reason you
says
couldn't be here. This part.
Consistent with the libraries, it talks about the ADA.
This says members of the Board of Trustees are required to be physically present at any duly noticed meeting unless such member is unable to be physically present due to extraordinary circumstances, including disability, illness, caregiving responsibilities, or any other significant or unexpected factor or event which precludes a member's physical attendance at such meeting.
So what does that
So the
So,
meaning of that might be what?
That might be where your issue comes in. If there's not a physical reason why they cannot be there, then that's when you run into issues.
Yeah.
okay, so would we, or I'm just saying that I would think, would the board want a doctor's
Well,
note
wait,
or
I have a
something?
question about
Or,
the pandemic here. Like, they're still telling you, wear a mask and stay away from people and try not to be indoors with people and all that. So how are we gonna just avoid what the CDC recommends? And they say a big wave of this is coming.
The CDC recommends wearing a mask if you're indoors now. I don't, unless it depends on your immune system. If you're immune compromised,
Yeah, that's
maybe
different.
like what April said.
Or if you're elderly, anybody over whatever it was, 50, 60, I certainly know I qualify.
right, so what do you want to identify what that is?
Yeah.
Well, we don't have much choice. It tells it right there.
Yeah, it's right
Well,
there. Yeah.
that's subject to interpretation. What is the,
But what qualifies as a illness or other
It doesn't
significant
say anything about
factor?
elderly.
What would the other
it's
say?
vague.
I mean, I would think if your doctor says it was too risky for you to come to a meeting because of the COVID risk, that could be a reason.
Of course.
Well, come on, how many people do that? The doctor wants every one of his patients giving him if it's okay to be here or there. I mean, as adults, we ought to be able to determine that for ourselves.
Yeah, well, that's why we're here.
But yeah, I don't know that the CDC regulations though really are very strict at all
No.
anymore.
They're not.
They recommend that you wear a mask if you're around people is what I think current
You want to.
recommendations are.
Well,
Well, yeah, I mean, they say
I-
recommend, it's no regulation. but-
Right.
I can tell you that at least, from what I am aware of, I am aware that, for example, in college campus environments, which have all gone back to in-person, I know a number of professors who 3 to 4 days out of the week are in enclosed spaces with students, not all of whom are wearing masks. They are wearing masks and they have not contracted COVID over the course of an entire semester of doing this. So in terms of the evidence for the protection of one-way masking, and I think it's really important to understand that the only reason that we know about medical masks in the past before COVID was because medical personnel in hospitals used to wear them when they were in like operating theaters, and one-way masking was all that was done there as infection control. So essentially, if you wear a mask in an indoor environment, that is currently the best evidence-based way to protect yourself. So I do know that for my own situation that a lot of this really has been a matter of a form of caregiving, that I have regular clients that are at 5 p.m. And when I finish with them at 5:50, it is often really prohibitive, less so now that it's not the winter, but it's difficult and prohibitive for me to be able to make meetings on time. So from my perspective, the virtual option is simply the best way for me to be able to sort of meet all of my obligations without shortchanging anyone. Now that we are in the summer and that there is more of a press to this, I do know that for next month's meeting, that is something that I can do in person. It remains to be seen whether August is going to work, because I will be having a kind of a minor surgical procedure at the end of July. We'll see if I've recovered enough to be able to be physically present. So that's simply my take on it.
Okay.
But when is his term up?
October
Oh,
or
so-
September. September's your last meeting, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so,
so he's gonna try.
or is it just kind of an on your honor thing with health? What are we gonna
I
do?
guess, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, how long are we gonna do things differently because of COVID? In 2 years,
Yeah.
over 2 years.
I mean, the regulations, people still have to go to work, like schools and stuff.
I know a lot of people still working from home.
Yeah,
But a lot of people can't.
Well, I mean, sure, if you're an airline pilot, that's difficult to do, but
A lot more people than just that, but.
so Sally, are
You
you
guys-
really feeling that it's not safe to come to the meetings?
I don't go anywhere. I went over 2 years without getting my hair cut. We don't do museums or movies or restaurants, or we had our anniversary. Where can we go on our anniversary? We went to the Montezuma Wildlife Refuge. It was so beautiful and peaceful. It was the perfect place to go in a pandemic.
I'll bet. How long
I
do
don't
you
know.
think, that's gonna last? I
Well,
mean, COVID is now.
the
endemic.
immunologists don't
stay
know
here.
how long it's gonna last. I certainly wouldn't second guess them.
COVID is here for the duration.
Yeah, well, to me, all of this is not worth dying for.
No,
Well,
no,
neither is,
absolutely not.
And I do know somebody that has died. And all these people that, I'm not the most restrictive of the people I know. I know somebody that's taken this up a notch beyond where I am. But I know people that are like, oh, well, and gee, what do you know? They both have COVID. My youngest grandchild has had COVID. I mean, somebody on the Mid-York board has had COVID. You
I
know,
had COVID about 3 weeks ago.
And Sally, I hope you don't think that I'm being harsh here about it. Because obviously I'm more careful than a lot of people. I'm always masked at the meetings. I'm more careful than a lot of other people are also. So I do understand where you're coming
Yeah.
from. Because, yeah, I've been right there with you and I'm trying to ease myself up a little bit more because they're saying that the risks are not that great if you're vaccinated, and
Right.
there's medications
Yeah.
now. But it still is disruptive, like you can't go to work, you can't be around your friends. And if I expose somebody else and they can't go to work, there's all that kind of
Well,
thing that.
I
goes on in
had
my
it
head.
about 3 weeks ago, I would say, and except for the first day when I had a fever, so that's
Yeah.
annoying. You sleep and take aspirin. After that, it was just a cold. It was annoying,
But
yeah.
of course,
And-
now
and
we're-
Cough.
Have you read any of the studies on long-term COVID?
Yep, that's the other thing. You don't know.
I mean, you might think you're over this in a few days or a week, or you might suffer from this forever, the whole rest of your life.
Well,
So,
It's unlikely.
It's one of those things we all have to make. our
Yeah,
own
you have to, I
decisions
agree. You
about.
have to make your own risk assessment.
I have something.
Okay,
I'm looking into it online and seeing if there's how to judge what
Okay.
to allow and who makes that judgment.
and what site is that?
This is jdsupra.com, legal news, New York adopts new law governing public meetings by video conference.
Oh, look at you, Shar. That sounds like a quality source.
Well, I
Did
would
they-
prefer to get medical advice from some medical site than a legal
Right.
site.
Oh, no, this isn't medical advice. This is just it's quoting the law. So it says that members of the public body must be physically present at one of the meeting locations where the public can attend in person unless the member is unable to physically present due to extraordinary circumstances as set forth in the public body's adopted meeting procedures. And then it lists the things that you read earlier, the disability, illness, caregiving, things like that. Then it says, members of a public body do not have a right to attend meetings remotely, but may participate remotely by video conference only at the discretion of the public body.
So if we approve it as the Board of Trustees,
Are we the public?
Yeah.
we're okay. And I mean, this is related to the illness or,
Right,
Or whatever.
yeah, it's related to the COVID illness that you don't particularly have, but to your health condition that makes you more at
Yeah.
risk to it. Correct?
Seems to be what it says, yeah.
Yeah, no,
So Kelly-
it clearly says if it's at the discretion of the body and we are the body, then it's our call.
yes.
Yeah, so we need to add that into this resolution so that it says it.
I thought it was
somewhere.
pretty vague, including disability, illness. So someone
Or any
could
other significant factor
factor.
or unexpected factor. Well, this is a significant factor.
So prior health conditions or
Right,
whatever,
yeah,
however you
yeah.
want to interpret that could be the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah,
Because we
Sounds
all
good.
might
So let it be
not get
written, so
involved
let
with
it be
Sally's
done.
Personal health history, but she would
Okay.
admit that her personal health history might warrant this. Because I know this is recorded. I don't want to say anything I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
supposed to
no,
say,
no, right, yeah, exactly.
Right.
but that's vague
As long as
also.
we can see her, right?
But as long as we can see Sally, I
Yeah.
do believe we're not in violation of
Right.
anything.
It's just a
Okay.
matter of clarifying what the regs actually are.
And we did that due diligence, I think, in this conversation.
Okay, then we're set. We've adopted the resolution. And what about the policy, right?
Yeah, basically all these papers,
Right,
these
yeah,
three
okay.
papers explain
Right,
everything we're
okay.
gonna do and what the law says.
Right,
That's what these
Mhm.
outline what Shar was referencing, I
right,
believe.
exactly.
Yeah. that's very
Okay,
good.
so we're all set?
But does it say that the person has to be seen?
Yes.
Yes, it
Yes,
did.
it does.
It did say
definitely.
that she has to have her video camera on.
Yes.
Okay,
So can I have a motion for adjournment?
yeah, do you want to sign that too?
Sure.
I'll make a
So
motion.
moved.
All right,
Oh,
I'll
so
second.
All right, well, thank you for your time this evening. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll do this again.
We'll do it again, yes. And we have permission to do it again virtually.
Sounds good.
And Sally, I
Well-
respect your sticking to your,
Oh, and again, just
Always be able to.
if it hasn't been said already, a vote of thanks to all of you who voted and told
Oh.
everybody that you know to vote, because things turned out way better than they would have if people.
oh, yes.
Yes, it
Yes,
was,
thank you, Scott, for
Yes.
sending the information because I was able to share that with a few other people.
Yeah,
and
I was
thought
too.
My
Right.
pleasure, because the more that I knew, the more terrified I became, and
Yeah,
kind of felt they need to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Helen
kind
Benton's
of, I
been
kind
going
of got
down.
my
Oh,
a
did it?
scoop from my grandson who has children in school. And I kind of got some information for him that jived with your information, so.
Yeah,
Good.
so very good. So.
Yep.
Okay, well, we'll see
thank
you.
very
All
much.
Okay.
right,
Same
take
time.
care.
Next
Have a
week.
good rest of your
Bye
week.
bye.
Bye.
Good night,
folks.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen?